dialogue in it. I know that we pointed out some of the stuff that was improv. I think it had about a $45 million budget.
Yep, that's correct.
Nearly doubled it, and I think it made 88 in the end in the States, and then 184 worldwide. It was more profitable than his previous movie, which was Malcolm X, or his previous highest grossing film, which was Malcolm X, which I think made only about half of what this one movie made. And I think it's still to date his most profitable film. I looked up the numbers, and I don't think that Black Klansman made as much money. I think Black Klansman kind of made about the same as what Malcolm X made. About mid-40s to 50 million, maybe.
You have to take into account, like, the it's a darker material as well. Yeah, it's a bit darker, even though, and you guys discussed this on the show with CJ a few years back, too. Even though Black Klansman's a pretty fun movie, too. It is. It does have a great comedic element to it, but
yeah, very, very serious in a lot of parts, but it's almost like half of the movie is almost a fun undercover movie, a fun undercover cop movie, and there's a lot of great dialogue in that too, a lot of really, really funny lines. Did pretty well with critics, although Roger Ebert didn't care for it. Strange.
This one, Inside Man?
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
Wow.
And then, because it was so popular and was profitable, very profitable, they wanted to make a sequel for a long time, which had all the major players were like on board with it, but like I don't see how you could make an entertaining sequel to this.
Or why? Yeah, why would you want to?
Why would you want to? It's pretty well. Very well done, but pretty self-contained. But I was reading the ideas that they had for like a sequel, and it was like, oh, Fraser's going to match wits with Russell again, or Russell's going to plan another perfect robbery, and it's like, that's dumb. Like, you're just rehashing shit, and it's the game has already been played.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, let's give Fraser the opportunity to take him down this time. I just don't get it.
And it's dumb. I don't know why. It never came to fruition, obviously, which I'm glad, because it would have kind of cheapened this movie.
I do know that they released an Inside Man direct-to-video sequel in 2019. I'm not sure if it's connected to this or if they were just able to get the rights for the name. But
I read the synopsis on Wikipedia, and it sucks. It's so lame. It's like Arthur Case is under house arrest, so like his son is going to take revenge on Russell, even though Russell isn't really in the movie. Like Clive Owen's not in it. It's just, this is the plan. He's going to take revenge on Russell, so I don't know who actually plays Russell or what, but I know that Clive Owen's not in it. But it sounded so dumb. I think Gurwitz wrote it, which would be on track with his shitty writing on Righteous Kill. But it was weird because they were trying to get this not this direct-to-video sequel, but this legitimate Spike Lee directed, Denzel Washington starring sequel. And especially if all the players are going to come back, like, how is Madeline going to fit into this scenario again?
Yeah.
It's all stupid. But what was weird was they wanted to do a sequel, and this is, Spike Lee's most profitable film, and Spike Lee's a well-established director, but apparently they just could not secure the funding for it. It's so weird that they have this popular movie with a good director, with a good cast, and, a sequel is, a lot of times, it's just like a cash grab, but they couldn't make a sequel happen. For the best, obviously, but...
Yeah, I think probably the studios were just weren't a fan of the ideas that they were throwing at them. You know what I mean? With good reason.
Yeah. Hope so. So I mean, I think they wanted to do a sequel for many, many years, and I think they finally dropped it around like 2012. Just decided not to, but for the best, as we agree. But that's Inside Man. It's a really great film, a really fun movie. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. I watched it when it came out. I saw it in the theater. I went right back and watched it again like the next day, just because I had so much fun with it.
Yeah, and the rewatch value to this is very high.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I watched it the other night. I'd seen it a couple times over the last few months because it's been playing on like HBO or Showtime or something. But I watched it a couple times. I just watched it again the other night, and then I rewatched it last night to make sure I was fully prepped for the show. And yeah, if it was a shitty movie, I wouldn't have watched it 3 or 4 times in the last few months. But hopefully you're closing out February with a strong movie and a strong show.
Yeah, thanks to you, man. This was so much fun.
I hope so. I hope not only did you have fun, but I hope it was a good show. As I hope all my episodes are. I try to make it fun. I try to have research. I try to talk about every little thing.
You have succeeded, sir, this far.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I guess we'll put that to the test. I wasn't really planning on doing Inside Man per se, and then Christopher Plummer died. And I thought, well, let's talk about Inside Man because Christopher Plummer's in it, and he's great in it. But Inside Man's also just a really great, fun heist movie from a good director with a solid cast.
Not to forget that we are ending Black History Month, and, obviously Spike Lee is a very famous and prolific director, as is
I would say one of, if not probably the most recognizable black directors working.
Couldn't agree more, man. And then of course Denzel Washington, always being a strong leading man.
Absolutely. I hope he spike again soon, man. Those movies that they made together are so good.
I just this is kind of off the subject, but I just rewatched because it's on HBO, Book of Eli, and I love that movie so much.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid flick. Hughes Brothers, right?
Yep. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Gary Oldman.
Oh, and Jennifer Beals is in that as well. Jennifer Beals and Denzel Washington were both in Devil in the Blue Dress, which is another really solid movie.
I saw that when I was a kid, when I probably was too young.
Yeah, good movie. That's a good book that it's based on, and Don Cheadle was great in that movie.
I just rewatched Boogie Nights, and I was like, damn, Don Cheadle's so good in this too.
God, we should cover Boogie Nights. That's a movie that's like endlessly rewatchable.
Yep. I would love to do an episode on Boogie Nights, man.
All right, well, table that one and save that one, put that one aside for you and I. We will cover it.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, until next time, Chris, thank you so much.
Absolutely, dude. Thanks for having me on the show.
Anytime, sir. So take care, be safe. Everybody be safe out there. And
wear your mask.
Yep.
Support movie theaters when the time comes, please.
Yes, sir. And until next week, you'll see the regular crew return.
Awesome.
Be seated, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Can I offer you anything?
No.
I must say, I was most impressed by the way you handled that business.
Thank you, Mr. Case.
Whenever I hear the term New York's finest, you're who I think of. You keep the rest of us safe and make it look easy.
Fun. Me.
What's our music?
When you say the rest of us, Mr. Case, I mean, you got to look around. The rest of us is a category that you haven't qualified for in a long time.
Touche, detective. I won't deny it. I've done well.
Yes, you have. But I'm very confused. You see, I got a case where armed robbers laid siege to your bank.
It is your bank, right?
I'm chairman of the board of directors.
Then the vinegar zoot, the robbers disappear. Poof. And they don't take a nickel, right?
You asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you. I mean, it's your bank. You own it. I'm asking you.
It's a tiny part of our organization.
No robbers, no real victims, no loot missing. It's got to be the first time in law enforcement history.
I never heard of it before.
So you got to ask yourself, what the fuck happened? Don't you, Mr. Case?
Not quite sure I like your tone,
You don't like my tone? Then give me a straight answer. It's the founding bank of your empire. You built it. It's your baby. Give me a straight answer. What do you think happened?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on now. Come on. I tell you what I think happened. I think you sent that woman in there to patch things up. Miss White, I think you paid her. What was she doing in there?
This is absurd. Are you implying that I had anything to do with it?
392. Safe deposit box 392. What's the story on that?
I have no idea what you're talking
Don't lie to
about.
me, Mr. Case.
I don't lie.
I looked at all the records. All the bank records for safe deposit boxes at your bank. At first glance, everything looked fine. But there was one safe deposit box that had no records. I mean, going all the way back to 1948. So I started thinking, who would have the answer to this riddle? Probably the man who forgot to mention that he built the bank in the first place in 1948. It doesn't add up, Mr. Case. It does not add up.
I'm afraid I can't be of any further use to you, detective.
It's something really bad, isn't it?
Mr. Frazier, I have spent my whole life serving humanity. You can ask anyone who knows me. They'll vouch for me. And for the things that I've done.
You think they'll vouch for you after I find out the truth about this ring? I don't think so.